Hi, I'm Autumn and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be talking about 4 books that I'm excited to read this year. So previously on my channel I talked about series that I want to finish this year. So in the same vein, I'm talking about 4 books that I'm really excited to get to this year. So the first book is The Alliance by Jolena Peterson. This is a post-apocalyptic story. This takes place in an Amish community after an EMP goes off and it strands a bunch of outsiders in this community. So the Amish, with their simple way of life, have sort of been prepared for this type of event, but now they have to deal with a lot of outsiders who have either been stranded in the community or have come to the community for sort of refuge. And I think it's a really interesting take on this type of novel, and I'm really excited to see what happens. The next book is The Wizard of Earthsea by Ursula K. Le Guin. This is the first book in a fantasy, I believe it's a quartet of books, and this follows the wizard Ged. It's sort of a coming-of-age story, and from my understanding it has sort of a unique setting for classic fantasy, and I'm really interested to see what it's like. The next book is The Hidden Treasure of Glastonbury by Eleanor Jewett. This is a historical fiction taking place at Glastonbury Abbey in England in the late 12th century. There was a lot of political conflict with the church at the time. This follows the events at the Abbey during this time, including a fire that they had, and talking about the Abbey's connection with the legend of King Arthur. The story takes place about 20 years before the grave of King Arthur was found at the Abbey. So I'm excited to follow the story. I have an interest in anything that has any connection with Arthurian legend and learn a little bit of history along the way. And the last book I want to talk about is The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. This is the first book in an epic fantasy trilogy following the wizard Koth as he tells his life story. I haven't read much adult epic fantasy, and I'm interested to see what I think about this corner of the genre. This particular book is a well-loved classic in the genre, and I'm excited to see what I think about it. So those are 4 books that I'm excited to get to this year. Let me know if you've read any of these books and what your thoughts are on them, and if you have any books that you're excited to read this year.